The biggest mistake I see engineers make has nothing to do with their technical skills. I spent 15 years watching brilliant engineers get passed over for leadership. Not because they weren't smart enough, because they thought being right was enough. Here's what I mean. You were the top of your class. You solve problems nobody else in the room can. And yet, someone with half your technical skill is signing your paycheck. Someone with half your competence is sitting in the corner office. Why? After 20 years managing multi-million-dollar engineering assets in aerospace and oil and gas, I learned that the smartest engineers don't win. The engineers who understand systems do. Your company didn't set your salary by accident, they engineered it. Let me break down 3 lies that keep engineers stuck, and I believed every single one of them for the first decade of my career. Lie number 1, if I'm good enough at my job, I'll get promoted. That's what they told you in college. That's what your parents believed. Keep your head down, deliver quality work, the recognition will come. It doesn't. In global trade, your network is your net worth. The engineer who gets promoted isn't the one with the cleanest calculations. It's the one who understands that leadership is influence, not technical accuracy. Lie number 2, leadership is about having the right answers. I spent years believing this. I walked into every meeting ready to prove I was the smartest person there. And you know what happened? People didn't follow me because my math was perfect. They followed me when they trusted me. Nobody follows you because your calculations are flawless. They follow you because they believe you'll get them where they need to go. Lie number 3, my work speaks for itself. This is the most dangerous one because it's half true. Your work does speak, but it whispers. And in a room full of people shouting, whispers don't get heard. The engineer who goes home bitter at 55, after 30 years in the same cubicle, that engineer did great work, nobody noticed. Let me tell you about a man I'll call Mark. Mark was the most brilliant mechanical engineer I ever worked with. I mean genuinely gifted. He could look at a schematic for 30 seconds and spot the flaw that 3 senior engineers missed in a week. And Mark spent 27 years in the same role. Same title, same cubicle, same paycheck, adjusted for inflation maybe. I ran into him at an industry conference about 5 years ago. He pulled me aside and said something I'll never forget. He said, "Eric, I did everything right. I showed up early, I stayed late. I never missed a deadline. And they replaced me with a guy 12 years younger who costs half as much." Mark wasn't bitter, he was confused. He genuinely believed the system would reward him for loyalty. Here's what I told him, and I'm telling you. The system doesn't reward loyalty, the system rewards leverage. Mark spent 27 years making himself valuable to one company. He never spent a single day making himself valuable to the market. That's the trap. You think you're building a career, you're building someone else's company. The engineers who break free don't work harder than Mark. They work differently. They build skills that transfer. They build relationships that outlast any single job. They build income streams that don't depend on one signature on one paycheck. Proverbs 22:29. Do you see a man skillful in his work? He will stand before kings. He will not stand before obscure men. That verse got me through some dark seasons. Skill will open the door. God promises that. But what keeps you in the room? Not more skill, wisdom, relationships, stewardship. Look at Joseph in Genesis. He didn't get promoted in Egypt because he was the best dream interpreter. He got promoted because Potiphar trusted him, because the prison warden trusted him, because Pharaoh looked at this man and said, "I need that character next to me." Now here's what most Christians miss about Joseph's story. Joseph spent 13 years between the pit and the palace. 13 years as a slave and a prisoner. But read the text carefully. In Potiphar's house, Genesis 39 says, Joseph found favor in his sight and attended him, and he made him overseer of his house and put him in charge of all that he had. Joseph was a slave, and he ran the entire household. Why? Because he was excellent at everything he touched, even when nobody was watching, even when the title didn't match the responsibility, even when there was no promotion in sight. That's the character God honors. Then in prison, same thing. Genesis 39. The keeper of the prison put Joseph in charge of all the prisoners. Joseph ran the prison while being a prisoner. He didn't wait for the right title. He didn't wait for the right compensation. He built systems and led people at every level. Slave, prisoner, second in command of Egypt. That's the model. Not complaining about the title you don't have. Building excellence wherever God has placed you, while simultaneously building the systems that will carry you to the next level. Proverbs 13:11. Wealth gained hastily will dwindle, but whoever gathers little by little will increase it. God's economy doesn't run on get rich quick. It runs on stewardship. Faithful, consistent, compounding stewardship. Here's where most engineers check out, because I'm about to tell you something uncomfortable. Your salary is a ceiling disguised as a floor. Your company calculated exactly how much to pay you. They factored in your mortgage, your car note, your lifestyle. They engineered a number just high enough that you'd never leave, and just low enough that you'd never get ahead. It's called the golden handcuffs. The raise you got last year wasn't a reward, it was a recalculation. The exact number to keep you stuck another 12 months. I watched this play out hundreds of times across aerospace, oil and gas, HVAC, construction. The engineers who survived every industry shift were not the smartest ones in the room. They were the ones who adapted fastest. So what do? First, build income streams outside your salary. Not because you're ungrateful, because you're a steward. God gave you that engineering mind. Use 100% of it. I know an engineer who started consulting on weekends, charged $150 an hour for the same skills he was selling to his employer for $55. Within 18 months, that side income matched his salary. He didn't quit his job, he bought options, he bought leverage. Second, position yourself as an owner, not an operator. When layoffs hit, the person who manages the system survives. The person who is the system gets replaced. Third, invest in relationships, not just skills. The deal I closed in Tokyo didn't happen because my calculations were perfect. It happened because those executives trusted me. AI can do the math. It can't build trust across a conference table. Let me give you a framework. I call it the 4 pillars of an unstoppable engineering career. Write these down. Pillar 1, technical mastery. This is your baseline. If you're not excellent at your craft, nothing else matters. Stay sharp. Learn the new tools. Be the person people call when the problem is impossible. Pillar 2, relational capital. Your network is your net worth. Not LinkedIn connections, real relationships. People who have sat across a table from you. People who have seen your character under pressure. Invest in these deliberately. Pillar 3, systems ownership. Stop trading hours for dollars. Build something that earns without you. A process, a product, a patent, a consulting practice. Something with your name on it that generates value whether you're in the room or not. Pillar 4, spiritual foundation. This is the one most career advice leaves out, but it's the one that holds the other 3 together. Without it, you're just another ambitious person burning out. With it, you have a why that transcends any job title. When you build all 4 pillars simultaneously, not sequentially, not someday, you become impossible to replace and impossible to ignore. God didn't give you that mind so you could use 10% of it making someone else's vision happen. He gave it to you to build, to lead, to create. Matthew 25, the parable of the talents. The servant who buried his talent wasn't punished for incompetence. He was punished for fear. I was afraid, so I went and hid your talent in the ground. That's not a technical failure. That's a faith failure. The question isn't whether you're smart enough. You already know you are. The question is whether you're brave enough to stop playing small. Comment the word "build" below right now, and I will DM you my free 4 Pillars blueprint. Make sure you hit that follow button so my DM can go through. Hit subscribe. I post every week for Christian professionals building something bigger than a paycheck. I'm Eric Donaldson. Follow me for leadership, engineering excellence, and building a legacy.